Hello everyone and welcome to the Darlington Speedway for the running of the Allegiant Air 400. This track has hosted some of the greatest races in the NSDCA. Last season we saw in the Crown Royal Truck Series a giant crash into a battle between Carter Friesen and DJ Curtis for the race win. And at the first Darlington event, we saw a spin and win from DJ Curtis and his part-time schedule with Monster back then. He went on to spin and win the Darlington race. We are here for the first time in the Cup Series, ready for 92 laps here at Darlington. It is sure to be exciting. Brandon Morris scores his first pole of the season. He will start up front, and behind him is Antoine Smith in that number 30. We'll see if Antoine can finally break through in the Cup Series, get himself a good finish here in that part-time schedule for the 30 team. Sebastian Kukel on Carson Bowers in row number 2, and Carson Bowers is one of the drivers, just like Irving Allison in the South Boston race. He needs to perform today to get himself into the championship swing. 22nd in points, an average finish of 22nd is not going too well for Bowers. Starting 4th today, let's see what he can do. Riley Spurley was in the 93 this week. There is last week's winner, Matty Porta from Steelback, finally getting his first win in over 4 years, breaking one of the longest winless droughts in the NSDCA. Alex Bediaco, Zachary DeLello, Stephen Wallace Jr., and Tib Foster. That's your top 11 with Carter Friesen. There is the previous winner there, the 85 of Carter Friesen. He's won here before. Brady Burkhart there is this week in the 42 is Christian Vargas driving that number 42 car. We'll see if Digital can repeat what they did last week. A top 10 run, 7th at Steelback. We'll see what they can do this time. And Cody Smart in the 02 finally running a full race for this 02 team. The first time since Road America that this team will be running a full race for Smart Motorsports. In the 75 is Danny Lloyd, those British driver who's had multiple Cup starts this year. Colton Lane sporting new Jack Daniels colors. The 61 this week driven by Hagen Enterprises' own Adam Mitchell, the defending DPDS champion. Joseph Strigley in the Xylem 63. Dusty Neal, DJ Gibson, and more. Larry Hagen starting near the back. Matthew Eves, Jacob Edson having a poor qualifying run. But we got to point out these three right here. Yepes, Curtis, and Jones. The bottom three, slowest three, 31st, 32nd, and 33rd. Of course, the back two are Monster Motorsports drivers. And DJ Curtis has finished at Darlington. This is his best track. A win and a top 5 run last season here at Darlington. But Yepes, he's a Speedway driver starting 31st today. He's going to have to climb from the back to get himself into victory lane. But a lot of drivers here, 33 drivers ready to hit the tracks, hit the speed for 92 laps. A long race ahead of us here at Darlington. Let's go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines at the Allegiant Air 400.
Drivers, start your engines!
Pepsi and the NSDCA have teamed up this season to bring you the Pepsi Pole Award for the fastest qualifier in all 26 Sundrop Cup Series races this season. Brandon Morris puts himself on the pole in this number 55 for the first time this season, trying to get Butcher Gatorade Motorsports their second win in the Crown Royal Truck Series or Sundrop Cup Series this season. Can he do it? We have 92 laps ahead of us here at the Darlington Speedway. With that, the engines are fired. It will be 33 drivers rolling off for 92 laps around here at Darlington for the Allegiant Air 400. We are excited. The fans are excited. The Cup guys ready to put on a fantastic show for these 92 laps around this 1.5 mile oval. Of course, it's a wild oval. The inside, the turns of 1 and 2 wider than turns 3 and 4. That's what you hear every time we come to Darlington. The lady in black. We'll see if everyone gets their Darlington stripes today. It was a big problem last year in the Crown Royal Truck Series race. Now they've widened the track surface out just a little bit. We'll see how these guys will be able to take on these 92 laps around this track. Pit window sits about 32 to 37 laps, meaning that we should see 2 pit stops if this thing goes green the entire way. Morris and Antoine Smith in the front row, Kukulon and Bowers row 2, Spurley Tube Jefferson in row 3, row 4 Porta and Butcher, row 5 DeLello and Stephen Wallace Jr. We got 92 laps ahead of us, so get back, get your popcorn ready, and get on your feet for the start of this one. It's going to be 92 laps here at Darlington. Morris and Antoine Smith leading them down. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at the Allegiant Air 400 at Darlington. Morris is going to use that inside line to his advantage. That's where you want to be on the restarts at least, or starts and restarts. Kukulon now in that 12, going to jump to the inside. Spurleytube a little slow further back, but 2 by 2 as they come down the back straightaway. Kukulon trying to clear Smith in for that second position. Bowers back there in 4th, sitting there waiting. Spurleytube in the 93 back there in 5th as he's making a move to the inside of Bowers. Now Kukulon with a run coming off of the corner. That's going to be for the race lead, but Morris is going to lead lap 1. And that Gatorade and Lay's number 55. Kukulon now to the inside, trying to make a move, and it's going to stick there. Here comes Spurleytube in the 93, going to look for that second position as they come rushing off of the corner. Down, coming out of turn number 2. 2 wide, maybe even 3 wide here. This track surface was widened over the off season. They added a bit more to the apron so that these guys would be able to use the apron a bit better, as Morris is going to carry on that outside line. Big run off of turn 4, and he's going to take the race lead right back as they head down into turn number 1. Flyby as the field comes on through. All 33 cars still on track, still up to speed, pacing on around this course. Antoine Smith now to the outside of Kukulon. That's for that second position. Bowers trying to get back into the 4th spot. Kukulon starts dropping back. There's Matty Porta in that 20. He is the driver coming off the most momentum. The win last week at Steelback. Now he's going to look for even more. This could be a championship season for this 20 team if they could get it going. This is the first time since season 2 of the Mountain Dew Custom Series that this 20 team and Matty Porta have a race win in the bag for the championship fight. Porta now fighting Bowers. That's for the 4th position. Spurleytube, or actually for the 5th position. Spurleytube up into 4th for SBR in that R&D number 93. Bowers back there in 5th. Porta up to 6th. Jefferson 7th. Butcher 8th. DeLello 9th. And Stephen Wallace Jr. now sits 10th. There's Carter Friesen, previous Darlington winner. He's up now fighting Stephen Wallace Jr. for that 10th position. And one thing to note, the Allegiant Air 400, this car is the Allegiant colors. So we'll see if Carter can go back-to-back at Darlington and try to get Allegiant their time in the their time to shine here in the Sundrop Cup Series, get them their 2nd win of the season. Interesting thing about the Cup Series so far, no repeat winners. First 7 races, all 7 different winners. Dusty Neal, Matty Porta, Peter Onjak, Jay Jefferson, Tib Foster, Carter Friesen, and Colton Lane, your 7 winners this season. We still got a lot of drivers up here that could be shooting for their first win, including Morris, looking for his first NSDCA win, period. He has been in full-time for now his 5th season full-time in the NSDCA. Of course, last season took a year off due to injury as well as being banned from Crown Royal Truck Series full-time competition last season. He's now out here for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports and running away with this thing in the race lead as they come down through turns 3 and 4. Morris, Antoine Smith, Kukulon, your top 3. Spurleytube 4th, Porta 5th, and the rest of the field cycling on through. A couple guys at the back we're going to note. First of all, DJ Curtis not making any spots up. He's right now 32nd in that 5 car. Trying to get up there. Yepes has gained a couple spots, but not too much. Edson, Neal, Gibson also back here. This is the furthest Gibson's been basically since he's come back from his injury recovery a couple weeks ago. Road America was when he came back, but now he is stuck in the back of the pack. We'll see if that momentum can continue through this race. Joseph Strigley in the 63 had a very poor South Boston showing for the Crown Royal Truck Series, trying to get himself now just outside of the top 20 as they run in that number 63. He sits right now in the 22nd position. Christian Vargas already dropped back to the 21st spot. Adam Mitchell moving his way up. Danny Lloyd moving his way up as they go. Brady Burkhart, your points leader, by 23 points over Dusty Neal, and could even increase that further as Neal is pretty far behind him. Bowers, though, has now dropped almost out of the top 15 as Stephen Wallace Jr. is going to make a big run to the inside of Cody Smart. Tries to get 2 in 1 corner to the bottom of Bowers, and that is side by side. Looks like for the about 12th position there. And yeah, Stephen Wallace Jr. has taken the 12th spot. Looking back up front, though, Antoine Smith has taken the race lead away from Morris, so it's not an NSDCA race without missing a battle or a pass for the race lead, but Antoine Smith now in that 30 car, leading for Shade Burkhart Racing. He's out in front. Flyby as they come through 3 and 4 there. You see multiple lines working. The interesting thing about this is multiple lines can work at Darlington. You saw a lot of outside passes coming off of 3 and 4 in the opening laps. Antoine Smith now trying to pull away in that 30 car away from Brandon Morris in second. 1 car into the wall. That's Sebastian Kukulon. He and Jefferson might have made some contact. We're going to replay of that on your screen shortly. But Kukulon and Jefferson, 3rd and 4th, Porta 5th. Spurleytube 6th, Butcher 7th. He's going to look to the outside on Spurleytube possibly, if he can make it coming off the corner. Spurleytube tried to squeeze him up, but now Jefferson and Kukulon battling for that 3rd position behind Morris. Jefferson on that inside line going to actually let him go and pull away. Of course, Jefferson in some issues there with the NSDCA. He has been put on probation for another number of races due to his actions at South Boston, so this 48 team, they're just going to have to hope and pray that Jay can keep it clean for a couple races this season, or they could risk a suspension from a race. Sebastian Kukulon in the 12 now coming after Brandon Morris. That is for that 2nd position as Kukulon's going to look to the inside. Not going to happen. Morris is going to carry the momentum on the outside, but Morris now starting to reel back in. Antoine Smith, that's your battle for the top 3 as they coming off of turn number 1 and 2. Jefferson clear into 4th, and Porta back there in 5th. Zachary DeLello up here. Brady Burkhart now breaking his way into the top 10. Stephen Wallace Jr. back there as well. And there's John Dilks getting another opportunity for Johnson Performance here in this 51 car. Right now seated in the 14th position. Dilks has ran a couple races so far with this season. But the interesting thing is he drives for Toyota Racing Development, but has had a lot of Chevy seats. So I wonder if that is telling of anything of his future for the NSDCA, for his team. But we'll see. He's coming off of a great finish in the Mountain Dew Custom Series Steelback race. I believe he got 3rd there. But right now he's going to the inside of Bowers. That's for the 13th position, running very well for Johnson Performance early on in this event. Cody Smart in the 0-2 back there in the 15th position. Danny Lloyd again. He's his first career start came in the Cup race at Atlanta a couple months ago, I should say. But Danny Lloyd in the 75 now for Tony Zhang Motorsports. This team struggling since Daytona and their top 10 finish with Cody Smart. They've had pretty much 5 DNFs, I'm pretty sure. Kyle Corbett has DNF'd every start he has had, 2 of those being mechanical failures, so I think the reliability on this brand new team might be the thing that's in jeopardy. But the 75 team, Danny Lloyd trying to give them a good run here at Darlington, get himself his first career top 20. Adam Mitchell fighting Christian Vargas back here. Nice to see Adam getting so many upper tier starts as Cody Goforth is going to get his Darlington stripe in that 27 as he bounces off of the wall. But Adam Mitchell, happy to see that he's getting some starts in the Cup Series, Mountain Dew Custom Series, even the Crown Royal Truck Series. He's getting some starts this season. We'll have to see if any of the bigger teams, the bigger equipment guys, and those part-time entries could get him a start. He might be able to run up higher, but right now, solid top 20 day for the 61 team. They had a top 10 going at Steelback last week. But that went up in smoke as Riley Spurleytube basically killed the entire field. Diego Yepes starting to move his way through the field even further. He started this race from the 31st position, making a move on Strigley. That'll be for the 22nd spot. So the 77 cars steadily making their way through the field. DJ Curtis has now gotten around guys like Austin Murray, Eric Monaco. Now looking for a move on Hagan, on Strigley as Hagan's. Whoa, boy, you guys got to watch there as he just squeezes past Larry on the outside line. What a move, but man, Larry got real tight up the track there in that 21 car. DJ Gibson, Gatlin Downey, Matthew Eves, Dusty Neal, and Bobo Jones. Those two seem to have their major Darlington stripes there, so that's going to cost them some as they run. Morris out in front. Antoine Smith has now dropped to the 5th position, and again, as we go through the field, we miss all the action up front. So you got Morris in that 1st position, Jay Jefferson in 2nd, Kukulon 3rd, Porta 4th, Antoine Smith back to 5th. DeLello 6th, Spurleytube 7th, battle for 8th between Friesen and Burkhart. 9th is the 83 of Butcher, 10th, Stephen Wallace Jr. in the 65 car. We're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break, bring you guys back to the action here at Darlington. 18 to 92 complete. The Jay Jefferson starting to close in on Morris as we go to this commercial break. Back live here at the Allegiant Air 400. Jefferson now chasing down Morris and is right on his back bumper, but under the brake, Diego Yepes down pit road. They popped the hood up on the 77, went to work on it. He is now multiple laps down as they are still working on that 77 car. So Yepes, no word on what the issue is there, but they are saying he might have lost a cylinder in that 77 car. He was doing good. He was gaining through the pack. As you see, Jefferson has some of that Darlington stripe to that 48 car. but we'll have to see if that 77 will be able to return to the track. He's multiple laps down. Most likely it'd just be for scraps at that point. Morris almost into the outside wall. But as now it stands, Butcher Gatorade Motorsports bookends the field. Driver in first, Brandon Morris, and driver in last, Diego Yepes. Jefferson in second, Porta up to third as he's pulled away. Antoine Smith fourth, Sebastian Kugelon up to fifth, Friesen up to sixth. Stephen Wallace Jr., though, is trying to move that 65 through the field. Right now fighting DeLello and Burkhart. And Zachary DeLello, another driver who has had a miserable season so far. DeLello not as bad, actually, as Carson Bowers or Stephen Wallace Jr. even. He's 15th in points, but 0 top 10s, 0 top 5s. Friesen hard into the wall. That's a big old Darlington stripe to the 85 car as he hammered that into the outside wall. They might have to repair that in these upcoming pit stops. But Zachary DeLello and this 57 team not really doing the best they have been this season. He's right now running inside the top 10, and as you see, Diego Yepes out with a header issue on the 77 car. But Zachary DeLello, 0 top 5, 0 top 10s, led laps at Steelback, was in position to go on, even possibly win that race, but was easily in position for a top 5. The fuel ran out on both ZR cars. They both had to come down pit road, and he ended up settling for outside of the top 10, I believe, in the 15th position. Carter Friesen is going to go to the apron, basically, to get around Antoine Smith, as DeLello is going to try to mount the charge coming off. But Zachary just hoping that he could get this KCMG car not into victory lane, just the top 10. Man, it's been a rough first 7 races for him, as well as a lot of drivers, but DeLello really hoping that his luck can turn around as he makes a bid for the chase this season. Morris, Jefferson, Porta have pulled away. This is the battle back here for 4th, as I think Dilks gets himself into the outside wall. And as you see, as this race goes on, we're 25 laps into a run. We've been green this whole time, and these tires are going to start wearing. You're going to be trying to push it through these corners, but you're just going to get up, possibly into the outside wall, and it's going to mess up the side of that car and get yourself a Darlington stripe. So you see Friesen has one, Jefferson had one, Neal has one. So a lot of guys you probably will see at least once you get into that outside wall. That's just how treacherous this track is. But these teams will most likely have to repair that on pit road. We saw last season, if you hit the wall hard enough, it could really upset your car, and that might be scary as this race progresses. 26 and 92 complete. Jefferson now starting to close in back on Brandon Morris, as Morris has really put on an uncharacteristic strong run today. This 55 driver, Morris has not had a win yet in the NSDCA, but he's ran very well. When he drove for BK Racing, when Burkhart and Morris Motorsports sold off their trucks to BK Racing and to Shade Burkhart Racing and split up Morris and Burkhart. Morris actually ran very well for the team. It was the same equipment as Jefferson's going to get a nose to the inside. Battle for the race lead. Here comes Jay. He wants that lap led. He wants to be the first driver to win two races this season, and they're going to try to get that 48 into victory lane. He's going to try to close up on Morris, and I think he will, as Porta has now brought that 20 back. No, here comes Morris back on the outside. It's a 3-car race for this race lead as they come down the back. But can Jefferson hang on that inside? Morris defending well on the outside, and that will be Morris into the race lead once again. But Jefferson not going to give up as they are nose to tail for this race lead. Jefferson all over the back of that 55 as Porta really slow through 3 and 4. Morris continues to lead 28 and 92 complete. But as we do pace around, Morris, he does not have wins, but he can put it up front as needed. And right now, he does sit 8th in points, so that is not too shabby for a driver with no wins to his name. Up here in the race lead, still putting on a dominant performance, and he held off even Jay Jefferson, Matty Porta in 2nd and 3rd. Friesen up to 4th, DeLello 5th, Burkhart 6th, Antoine Smith starting to fade to 7th. Peter Onjak putting himself inside the top 10. Spurley 2 back there. Colton Lane starting to move up. Couple drivers dropping to the back. Carson Bowers in this 25. There doesn't look to be any damage on it, but man, he started this race in 4th. He's all the way back in the 21st position. So this 25 team not running very hot there for them. Austin Murray now getting passed by Cody Goforth. Pedal to Metal Racing has not been running that well this season either. But up in front, Morris continuing to lead on around. We'll go to the wide angle shot. Take a look at the field as they come on around. And a couple laps away from getting to the pit window, and the pit window will open up for that first round of pit stops. We'll see if they stay green, stay clean and green as they head on around. Jefferson looks like he might have a bit more damage than we thought to that 48 car. That might have been the thing holding him back from passing Morris, because that car might be having some pretty bad handling issues as they head on around. But Morris out in front, Jefferson second, Porta third, 31 and 92 complete in this event. At the back, Christian Vargas, Matthew Eves not running too hot. CFRO really not running too hot, but I think Neil has a Darlington stripe. The 47 has is just slow, been pretty much slow this race. One car down pit road, that's John Dilks. Is he the first one in? And that he is. So Dilks will open up the round of pit stops. 32 and 92 complete. He hit the wall pretty hard coming off the corner a couple laps ago. As we still have 60 laps to go in this event, we'll see now the first round of pit stops. 32 and 92 complete, and we'll see who will come in this time by. Go ahead to this camera angle just to see as Morris running a bit higher, maintaining that race lead. And the good thing about green flag pit stops, we don't see these often in the NSDCA, is we've seen a lot of crashes. Usually there will be an incident or something that happens within the amount of time that we could see green flag pit stops. So right now, it's nice to see if we can keep this clean. If we could keep this green, it'd be very interesting to see how the pit stops will factor in. Most of the time, the pit crews just have to worry about the yellow flag pit stops. That means, you know, not as much issues there, as Dilks is actually down pit road. There might be something more on that 51, but they might just be repairing the 51 because they smacked the wall pretty hard. But we'll have to see if the green flag pit stops will last, if we will have some strategy possibly being played here. And we'll see how good these teams are and how good their pit crews are, as they don't have the stresses of green flag pit stops very often. Morris and Jefferson making the move down the back straightaway. It looks like they're going to come on in. So we'll go ahead to this camera angle, see who will stay out. Morris and Jefferson bringing it on in. Porta is going to stay out to get himself an extra bonus point. Burkhart, Friesen staying out an extra lap. Kukulon, Stephen Wallace Jr., Spurley Tube staying out. Hefty majority coming on in, though. And we'll have to see. We saw at South Boston when the green flag pit stops happened in a crowded pit road. It was very sketchy. You could make some contact here. But this pit road a lot nicer than South Boston's pit road. A lot more forgiving. John Dilks now down 2 laps as they did repair the side of that 51 car. So Morris coming down pit road. We'll go ahead. Watch this 55's pit crew go to work, as it's most likely 4 tires and fuel is what you got to do. You're not going to be able to do much else without that. So 4 tires and fuel. And the other key factor is keep these cars clean. If you get a Darlington stripe, especially a bad one like Jefferson and Dilks had, it's going to cost you time on pit road, but it could cost you time on track as well. And they're going to have to come down and repair that. I believe Brady Burkhart is going to be the one to stay out an extra lap. He is your points leader. No wins on the season, but is the regular season points leader. Might be trying to stretch it just a little bit further to have just a little bit better fresh tires as this race progresses, but he will stay out that extra time. And yeah, as we said, Jay Jefferson's going to lose a lot of time as they had to repair the side of that 48 car as they come down pit road. And that's an issue with Darlington just being so tough to run on. You got to repair that car to keep up with the cleaner guys on track. But that's now going to give Morris a big ol' lead over Zachary DeLello. Rest of the field coming on out, cycling on out right there. And that is the pass for the race lead. There is Porta. He should be the driver in second as they come on around, but he is going to be left in the dust by the 55 team. Look at Colton Lane. It's not a strategy because you're not coming down taking 2 tires or anything. There's no way. So that 4-tire pit stop very fast on the 05 team. And now Monster Motorsports has a driver in this top group looking to win for their 3rd time at Darlington. He's in the 4th position, is that 05 of Colton Lane. Coming on around, I think those guys are the lappers at the back as they come on around. But there's Morris now going to pass Butcher. I'm not sure. I don't think Butcher would be part of the race lead, and it does not look like he will be. So it looks like Butcher, Goforth going to be laps down. We'll go ahead and get an update of the field as they do come on around. Jay Jefferson right now in that 48. They had to buff out the side of that car. He's back outside the top 20. That 48 car for Texas Star Racing. But as they cycle around, we will go ahead back through the field as they go. Up in front is Morris in that 55, now leading out to 4.3 seconds over second place Matty Porta, looking to go 2 in a row in that 20 car. Third is now Colton Lane, a great run for that 05 team. Fourth, Zachary DeLello in the 57. Fifth is Sebastian Kukulon. Sixth, Stephen Wallace Jr. Seventh is now Edson, a great pit stop there, gets him inside the top 10. Tim Foster, Brady Burkhardt also in there, and you see Burkhardt already. Big move on Foster. If he could make it around Edson, those fresher tires, it's going to be just maybe 2-3 laps fresher, but that could be big, especially on this opening stint, opening few laps of these fresher tires. You might be able to really throw it around here, but you see Edson's going to power back on that outside. So that's a battle for 8th and 9th. Onjak sits 10th, DJ Curtis up to 11th, Antoine Smith 12th, 13th Adam Mitchell, 14th Cody Smart, 15th is the 75 of Danny Lloyd, 16th Eric Monaco, 17th Riley Spurleytube, 18th Carter Friesen, 19th Strigley, and 20th DJ Gibson. 21st is now Jay Jefferson as he blows by Gatlin Downey. 23rd, Matthew Eves. 24th, Larry Hagan. 25th, Christian Vargas. 26th, John Dilks. 27th, Carson Bowers. 28th is the 95 of Bobo Jones. And there is Morris, your race leader. And 29th, Ryan Butcher. 30th, Cody Goforth. Then Dusty Neal, 31st. Austin Murray, if we can find that 91. He is the 32nd position. There's Murray on pit road. He might have had an extended stay, a flat tire for the 91 there. So that's going to cost Murray a ton of time. That's going to cost him a great finish. He will now be 2 laps down in that number 91. 41 and 92 complete here at Darlington. We just had the pit stops, so now a lot of drivers spread out. We'll see how they fare in the next half of the race. 41 and 92 laps complete here at the Allegiant Air 300, 400. We'll go back to racing action after this commercial break. Back live here at the Allegiant Air 400, and Jay Jefferson's car is going to go up in smoke. Something wrong with the engine as smoke pours out of the 48. We'll see if he can make it back to pit road, but he is slowing rapidly. If he can make it back, no caution. But if he does end up stalling on the track, Stephen Wallace Jr. going to get his Darlington stripe back there in the 65. We'll see if Jay can do so, as he's... never mind, he'll stay to the bottom, so... Thankfully, he did not just Bob helipad it, but Jay Jefferson slowly bringing that car home, was up in second this race, came down pit road. Maybe it wasn't as much the repair, but maybe he was feeling something going sour in the engine, but that will be the end of the day for the Texas Star Racing number 48. Jay Jefferson's luck still not going too good this season. We thought he'd be the championship favorite in trucks and even in the Cup, but right now mechanical issues and a bunch of crashes have put him back in the standings. He got that win at Richmond, but this will be the end of his day in that 48 car for Texas Star Racing. So back up front, it is all Brandon Morris way out in the race lead. He is sitting right now 3.75 behind or ahead of Matty Porta. He's coming up on some lap traffic of Bobo Jones and John Dilks. Now there is some lap traffic between Porta. Austin Murray also has fresher tires. He had that flat tire about 9 or 10 laps after pit stops, so he will have fresher tires, probably be able to move quicker around him. So Porta at this point just let him go so he can get up with those lappers, maybe even catch Morris, give him some trouble. But Porta sits second. We're going to go ahead, go quick through the field as we are running around nice and spread out here at Darlington, starting off with Brandon Morris, putting on a dominant performance today. Team saying that the car is great. Morris has been pretty quiet on the radio, trying to get himself that first career NSDCA victory in that number 55. Wants to get it here at Darlington, a track that's very tough, but he also wants to get it just so he can have that hope that he can make the chase and be a championship contender this season. Right now, running first, Butcher Gatorade Motorsports was not thought to be a powerhouse coming into this year, but a win at the Crown Royal 300 with Matthew Brown, and now Yepes and Morris both in the top 10 in points. Right now, Morris out in the race lead in that 55 car. Back in second, Matty Porta, coming off of his first career Cup Series win, as well as first win in 4 years. Sauber Racing Team happy to see the progress that's been made this year. Kukulon scoring the victory at Memphis in the trucks, and Matty Porta scoring the victory at Steelback in the Sundrop Cup Series. Porta is excited. He wants to go and can't wait for this chase season because he knows this team behind him will be able to get him into victory lane more often and could possibly get him a championship hunt. Now, the last 2 years he's been in the championship hunt. 2 years ago, he almost won the title if it just wasn't for Diego Yepes finishing high enough, and Porta, if he could have gained a few more spots in the closing laps at Kansas, he could have been your Season 2 Truck Series champion. Porta now in second, trying to chase down Morris. He's gaining big time on him as Morris is dealing with a lot of lap traffic. We'll see if Porta can catch him about 10th a lap here during this stint. Colton Lane, don't know how he got up to third, but a great run by his pit crew on that pit cycle. He's now in this 05 car trying to fight his way for a race win for his second of the season. Won Road America earlier this season in a pretty chaotic race. Right now it's nice and calm. Monster knows how to get it done here at Darlington, and he's trying to put his name on the list with DJ Curtis and Carter Friesen as the greats from Monster that could get a win at Darlington. Joseph Strigley coming down pit road. Brake issue on the 63 there, so they're going to try to repair that car. Back here in fourth, Brady Burkhart, as he's going to make the move on DeLello, your regular season champion with the Xfinity colors. Xfinity getting a lot of sponsorship in the first half of the season, so happy to see them, and they're probably happy to get so much TV time with Brady having 6 top 5s in 7 events, and right now he's in the 4th position. This 99 car has been on fire this year, and he wants to go up there and get a win to prove it. It's been 2 years since he's been a championship threat. Last season, Auto Club pretty much took all his momentum away after he was parked for aggressive driving in the first few races. Now Burkhart in 4th, trying his best to hang on in that 99. In 5th is Zachary DeLello. Talked earlier in this race that this team has been struggling this year with even finishing in the top 10. They almost had it last week at Steelback, but they're trying again. A top 5 run right now for DeLello. Hopefully the pitting and the fuel will be able to last, and the pit strategy will be able to get him a top 5, top 10, maybe even a race victory. If we see a late race caution, he could be a threat for this race win. Fast car underneath him today in that 57. Sebastian Kukulon sits 6th in that Rockstar Energy Racing number 12, driving for his own team here, but he drives for Sauber in the Truck Series. Got that win earlier this season, but wants to get it in the Top Series competition. Rockstar Energy Racing has never won in the NSDCA in a Top Series event, one of the top 3 series. The only wins for the team coming with Kyle Corbett in the Dr. Pepper Dash Series last season, scoring 2 wins last year for that team. Kukulon wants to get the victory, but you also have guys like Priya McShane, well, girls like Priya McShane, and guys like Cody Smart, Kev Shearer, even Matthew Eves, Larry Hagan making starts for the truck race for this Rockstar Energy Racing team, so they have to see. They have a lot of drivers that could get it into victory lane this year, but Sebi wants to get himself into victory lane as well. DJ Curtis started this race from the 32nd position. He has won here before and has been a threat every year at Darlington as he makes the move for 6th. He's marching towards the front, but it might be too little too late. 8 seconds behind race leader Brandon Morris. 56-92 complete only, so that's just about over halfway. So that's not counting him out completely, but he has a lot of time he wants to make up, especially if this race goes green, like we've seen. Tip Foster in 8th, your Sundrop Cup Series, Sundrop 500 winner, the inaugural Cup Series race. He won that one, and now he's seated pretty good for a championship chase hunt. He's 10th in points entering this race, but a top 10 could put him even further up in the championship hunt, especially with drivers like Diego Yepes and Jay Jefferson now being out of this event. Foster in 8th as Kukulon is sideways. Man, he has gotten, I think that's the 2nd time he's gotten into the outside wall, and that 12 car, man, they are really getting that car pretty tight up there. Some damage now to the 12 car. But Tip Foster running very well. Now looking for the 7th position on Kukulon as he's fallen back from that incident just about 2 turns ago. But Tip Foster for Orange Auto, very strong. Happy to have such a good ride, such a fantastic sponsor, such a good team underneath him, putting him in some great runs. Jacob Edson, there's an issue for the 82, a fuel system failure, and he's trying to get to the bottom. That's going to hold up Peter Onjak as basically they are just going to be freight trained on the outside. Good job by Edson, though, trying to keep it out of the way, and now he's going to be able to get to the bottom. But now Onjak, heartbreaking for that team, so he's trying to get on through contact with Riley Spurleytube there into the wall, and now Edson spinning down the back. Will that bring out a caution? there in that car. And yes, it will. The yellow lights are on. So Jacob Edson, a fuel system issue in turn number 1 is going to cost him a top 10 run in that 82 car. And that will bring us to the first caution of the day here at Darlington, as Morris is trying to hang on over Butcher and Murray, put more lappers between them, but they most likely will hit the pit stops here as Murray was really gaining. Morris will lead the field back to the caution. Edson down pit road. That was a 59-lap green flag run to start this event. I'm sure the fans were happy to see a lot of green flag action, a lot of clean racing, a lot of mechanical issues, though, and it's a wonder that these teams really have a lot of issues on track. But again, this was 59 laps. This is the longest pretty much we've ever been under green, so you can't really cool those brakes down. You can't really cool the tires down under these caution laps like other races have been. But here we go. Morris is going to be the first one, probably bringing him down pit road. Nope. Pit road might not have been open yet. So we'll see. But most likely these guys came in on lap 32 to 37. Again, around the fuel window. So you're coming up on that again in just about 9 or 10 laps. We're looking right here. That would have been 31 laps left this time by. So this would be the final pit stop you'll need as Edson is down pit road. They have went under the hood, went under the back, fixed up the fuel system issue. He seems to be back out on track, though that team will be 1 lap down. 23 cars on the lead lap. And we'll see if Morris will bring some of these guys down pit road now. If not, they're just going to be running about another 10 to 15 laps before they come into pit anyway. So I'm not sure about that. And there you see Morris will lead them down. And it looks like, yeah, those guys are lap cars right there. And that is the whole lead lap group coming on in. Joseph Strigley, he had an issue a couple laps ago. He might be able to maintain that and might be able to continue on. I'm not too sure about that, though. But you see Murray, those guys, they are going to come on down pit road. Morris leads them down. Porta, Lane, Burkhart, DeLello, and this will be the money stop. This is the final stop of the day for most of these drivers, or it should be anyway. You can make it to the end with the fuel, and this is good for those guys like Kukulon, those guys that had damage from possibly getting their Darlington stripe. This will be a lot less time. You can go down, make those repairs, and you don't have to really worry about going a lap down because of the pace speeds. We'll take another look at race leader Brandon Morris's pit stop here. It's going to be a 4-tire pit stop, of course, for the 55 team, because at this point you got to run those 4 tires. 4 tires and fuel is the plan to get you to the end. 2 tires just won't be enough, especially if we have a green flag stint to the end of this event. Antoine Smith got his Darlington stripe. They'll probably repair that for that SBR team. Morris will be the first one out. He will lead them back around. So Morris out in front. Porta second, Lane third, Burkhart fourth, DJ Curtis 5th, Zachary DeLello 6th, Foster 7th, Kukulon 8th, 9th, Eric Monaco 10th, Cody Smart. So a lot of guys starting to move on up. Antoine Smith, they don't repair the 30 car, so they must think he's going to run fine without it. But as they come on out, Spurley Tube near the back. We'll see how many of the lappers come on in. Jacob Edson will stay out. So that 82 team actually, no, they are 2 laps down, so this won't even help them. But Edson will be out in front of these guys. He will be the lap car in front of this field. However, Edson not too slow. The issue was mechanical, but it seems to be back up to speed. He was keeping top 10 pace until then, so he should be fine to actually continue on. He might be an issue for Morris to try to get around, but these guys, this is the chance you got. We won't be going back to another, we won't be getting another round of pit stops. This race is pretty much set here unless we do get a green-white checkered finish. We'll see if that'll happen, as we had one at Steelback last week. But Morris, Porta, Lane, Burkhart, and Curtis, your top 5. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here at Darlington. So the incident here, it's just simple. Edson coming down the front straightaway, wiggling the car. There's no fuel pressure. It's slow. He's pretty much running out of fuel up top here, and it's going to be an issue there in that 82. Now he's stuck with Onjack behind him. There's nowhere to go. They're coming to the inside. He's going to get an opening here as Antoine Smith and Friesen get past. But the 82, he tries to get down. Spurley Tube back there, though, comes with momentum. Doesn't know where the 82's going. Edson's trying to stay out of the way, and they just collide. So really, I don't know if you can blame it on either driver, but the 82 and 93, both Shade Burkhart racing cars, bring us to the first caution of the day here at Darlington in the late stages. Lights on the pace car went out this time by 64.92 complete going back racing on lap 65. Just under 30 laps to go here at Darlington. Brandon Morris in the race leads second. Matty Porta third is Colton Lane. Fourth, Brady Burkhart. Fifth, DJ Curtis. Zachary DeLello sits sixth. Tib Foster seventh. Sebastian Kukul on eighth. Eric Monaco and Cody Smart for Smart Motorsports sit ninth and 10th. Stephen Wallace Jr. 11th. Adam Mitchell 12th. 13th, Antoine Smith. 14th, Carter Friesen. And 15th, Danny Lloyd. 16th is Gatlin Downey, 17th Matthew Eves, 18th Carson Bowers, 19th Peter Onjak, and 20th Larry Hagan. 21st is DJ Gibson, 22nd Riley Spurleytube, 23rd Christian Vargas, 24th Joseph Srigley, or maybe not. Okay, 23rd is Christian Vargas, and that is Vargas is the first driver one lap down, so he's 23rd. The rest of the drivers one lap down. Bobo Jones 24th, Ryan Butcher 25th, Cody Goforth 26th, Dusty Neal 27th, John Dilks 28th, Jacob Edson 29th, Srigley sits in 30th, Austin Murray 31st, and two drivers out of this one being Jay Jefferson and Diego Yepes. Coming around, just a few laps to go. One more race stint. No need for more pit stops. Green flags back in the air. Edson with a great jump. He's going to pull away from Morris, and we are racing once again at Darlington. This is the chance. This is the time to strike before they get too strung out. You can't catch Morris. Edson out in front. Will he play a factor in this one? He's just trying to stay one lap down so he can try to gain some pit stop or gain some spots still in this race. He's out in front. Morris is the race leader though, as he's going to look to the outside. Big run to the top there on Edson. Edson's going to go up to block. Can Morris get the run off the corner? That he will, as Porta holds up the field. Morris in that 55 out to the race lead, and he's going to try to clear Edson down into turn one, side by side for that top spot. Edson will fall though, as here comes Morris and Burkhart and Curtis. Where did they come from? We thought it'd be Porta and Lane fighting them, but here are two of the best drivers in the business, Curtis and Burkhart, right there in third and fourth. They're catching. DeLello back there in fifth. Edson's going to walk up the track. That allows Porta by. That allows Burkhart by. Now Curtis has to fight past, but now Brady Burkhart, will he be the one to dethrone Morris and take home the victory? Porta in second, Burkhart third, Curtis fourth. These two were flying through the field early on in this event. Now they have the chance to do it. They're chasing them down. One car into the wall. That's Eric Monaco further back as they're three wide. The rest of the field trying to make their way on through here at Darlington. Curtis now in that five, trying to get around Jacob Edson. Morris, Porta, Burkhart, your top three. Curtis now sits fourth. Fifth is Colton Lane. Sixth. Fifth is Zachary DeLello. Sixth, Colton Lane. Seventh, Tib Foster. Battle for second is here comes Burkhart. He's going to look to the inside in that Toyota number 99. He's going to take that spot away from Porta. And Curtis clears Edson. That's Curtis into fourth. He knows how to get it done at Darlington. Can he get it done here? Cody Smart into the outside wall in that 02 car. It's real tough to get around. It's real hard to keep it off the wall, especially when you're 2-3 wide even. DeLello now trying to get a run to the outside of Edson here. Edson's going to climb him up, but DeLello's going to clear into fifth. So now the top five are all right together. They're all lead lap drivers trying to chase down Morris for this race win. Porta's into the wall. He sent it in, and that's going to allow Burkhart into second, Curtis into third, and now Porta is really getting his Darlington stripe there. Edson trying to get past him, and now Morris has no one between himself and Burkhart and Curtis. All they need to do is catch him. Edson back into fourth, but now DeLello's making that move. Porta, that's going to be his day pretty much done. Now stuck behind Edson. DeLello up to fourth. Lane fifth. Foster fighting into sixth. Cody Smart hanging in the top 10. Look at Adam Mitchell in the 61. You thought this guy wasn't that good. You thought he could have been a boom or a bust. He's right now showing he's in the top 10 for the 61 team. But up in front, Curtis losing ground. Burkhart now we're going to have to keep a look at the intervals. Still 22 laps to go this time. A lot of racing left. Morris being chased by Burkhart and Curtis. What'll the gap be this time? 1.69 was it last time, and it's going to be 1.55. Burkhart closing in just a little bit. Curtis lost some time last time by, but now Burkhart trying to catch and pass this number 55. Morris has never gone to victory lane. Burkhart, it's been 2 years. Porta into the wall again. There might be something wrong with that 20 car. Edson clears himself. Lane is fourth. Battle for fifth. Cody Smart trying to get that team a top 5 in this 02 car. He's been starting at parking this entire season for his Smart Motorsports, and now this 02's trying to fight their way into the top 5 in the closing laps at Darlington. Burkhart loses a lot of time, about half a second that time. Something really went wrong with that team. DeLello starting to drop back. Adam Mitchell starting to drop back. Look at Danny Lloyd up here. We're just taking a look through this field. Matthew Eves has gained some spots, but there's a lot of the lappers at the back just trying to hang on desperately. But now Curtis starting to wheel back in that number 99. Battle for second could heat up. They got 20 laps to catch Morris. They're going to have to really drive these cars down through these corners and try to get themselves a victory. And now Burkhart's starting to lose that time. Are those tires already starting to be used up? Is he using his equipment up too much, or is he trying to save fuel? Is he thinking we'll have a green-white checkered? Edson into the wall further back as they come off the corner. Larry Hagan as well. Man, these guys are really pushing it. When you're in the pack, the car feels so much different. They haven't been in the pack really for 40 laps. You haven't been racing like this. So a lot of these guys are probably getting, we're probably getting complacent. 0.6 of a second gained by Burkhart there. And Brady's coming. If you're Morris, you know this 99 and this 5 are fast. The 99's been fast all season. The 5 is fast here at Darlington. It's not going to be over until that white flag, until that checkered flag even flies. If there's a caution at the end of this race, you could see a green-white checkered. If there's a caution now, Burkhart and Curtis are on you, and they are going to get you on this restart. Now Curtis threatening Burkhart once again. And Burkhart, even though he was a little slow through 1 and 2, he still gained just a little bit on Morris. They have pulled away. The top 3 are in a different zip code right now. Tip Foster working his way into the top 5. Great run today for the 40 team. Looking at further back again, the top 3 still closing on in. We're just trying to make sure everyone's clean. Christian Vargas into the outside wall. We're taking a look. I think Larry Hagan is the last car on the lead lap, so all these guys back here are lap drivers. There's Srigley at the back. Bobo Jones trying to make some moves. These guys got to stay clean, though, for this race to end, but Burkhart and Curtis are gaining each lap. Curtis is all over the back of that 99, though, coming off, but Morris is being caught. He has been dominant this race. This has been an absolute dominant race for the 55 team, for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports. Yepes in the 77, he had an engine issue earlier. That's not what Morris wants to see. Those guys run the same engine program as Curtis is going to make the move for second. He wants to get up there and try to beat Burkhart. And they even gained another bit of time. Is Morris laying back, or are Curtis and Burkhart just that fast? Brady's going to get into the wall, though. That's going to be a Darlington stripe for the 99. He was too high. That's going to lose him some time in that 99. Curtis now is all alone. All he has to worry about now is that 55 of Morris up in front and catching him each lap. Morris does not want to see Curtis in his rearview mirror. DJ, though, every single time he's gone to victory lane in the NSDCA, it has been a dramatic finish. The spin and win at Darlington, passing Diego Yepes on the last lap at Texas World, an all-out war between himself and Carter Friesen in the closing laps at Charlotte, and now this dramatic finish could be gaining from 3 seconds back, possibly to a race win. He's closing on Morris lap after lap. One other guy you can't count out, Colton Lane, Tip Foster, they haven't lost too much time on Morris. It's a big gap. It's for sure a big gap, and it's going to be hard for these guys to catch him. But if Curtis and Burkhart catch up to Morris and we have a 3-car race for the race lead, that could bring those guys that are running by themselves into this event. 1 second behind is Curtis, but Burkhart's starting to close in once again. This top 3 could be the battle for the race win. This is nice to see. The fans most likely enjoying this. It's a change. We have seen crash after crash after crash in the 1.5 races here at Darlington, here at Atlanta. All season long in the Cup Series, we've seen crashes in races. And right now, we've had one incident this race. A lot of guys are getting into the outside wall, getting that Darlington stripe. But we have never seen a 3-horse race, nice and spread out, and these guys just trying to catch each other in the closing laps. 12 to go for Morris's first win, but it could be Curtis's first Cup win this year. He's come up short multiple times. Daytona leading off of turn number 2 on the final lap. Stuck in lap traffic, loses it to Foster. Atlanta passed in the closing laps by Carter Friesen. He is out of that one, and Friesen goes on to win in the final few laps. Now, last week at Steelback was leading. Porta got by him and went on to win. Curtis now has not been in this position often this year. being the driver in second, chasing down the race leader. He has the time, he has the opportunity, but Morris is hitting consistent laps out in front, trying to win this event. Curtis back there in second. It's opened back up to a second between them. Burkhardt has now lost some time in that 99. Back and forth, Colton Lane, fifth now. Porta and Foster going at it. But Cody Smart in seventh. Eric Monaco, eighth. Freeze in ninth. Kukulon and DeLello fighting for 10th. Adam Mitchell inside the top 15. So is Carson Bowers. The rest of the field just fighting each other, trying to get those spots. But Morris and Curtis do not want a caution. Curtis maybe, Burkhardt definitely, but Morris does not want to see a caution. He's 10 laps away from his first victory. But Curtis gained another 3/10 that time. He is coming, whether Morris likes it or not. That 5 is fast at Darlington, and he has the potential, he has the speed to get up there to that 55. It just depends on how well he executes these corners, and it looks like he's really pushing now because he really got tight through turns 1 and 2. Burkhardt now bringing that 99 back to him, as Curtis is doing everything he can to catch the 55. 9 laps to go, actually, for Morris that time by. He's out in front. 1.14 is the gap now. He just has to keep hitting these consistent laps, but we are getting into the stint, to the end of a stint here at Darlington. This is pretty much getting close to the end of the tire stint, and Curtis and Burkhardt know that. It looks like they might have used up their equipment. Morris, is he trying to conserve? Is he trying just to hit consistent laps? The tires are going to be eaten up here on this old surface at Darlington. 7 to go. Curtis and Burkhardt gaining. Once again, it's now down under a second, but they have to hit consistent laps. They have to push. They have to get up there to Morris. They just cannot hit that outside wall. And Morris, he doesn't have to push until he sees those guys really closing in, because he has that time. He has the gap. He just has to hang on up in front. But Curtis and Burkhardt, they are the best in the business this season. Curtis has been up front so often, but Burkhardt has not had many runs outside of the top 5. This will be his 7th and 8 races if he can hang on up here. But Curtis now, it's back to a second. Curtis is trying everything he can in that 5 car. The laps, though, are running out. Morris, you see him just at the edge of the screen. That looked to be slow. That looked to be a very poor 1 and 2 for him. This is going to be the closest Curtis and Burkhardt have been since the restart. And now they are closing in. They can taste it. Burkhardt going to the outside. He wants to make a move on Curtis. That's the battle for second now as they come off the corner. But Morris had a very poor turns 1 and 2, and that's going to bring them right back to his back bumper. 0.6 of a second were taken away that time by. And now Curtis and Burkhardt are closing in on that 55. Morris out in front trying to hang on. Curtis really has not shown the consistency. Burkhardt's been the one really gaining on these times, but he has to get around Curtis, and it looks like 1 and 2. Curtis was pretty poor through there. Morris fixed what he had to do, and he gained some time on Curtis and Burkhardt. Does DJ have enough to catch the 55? That time by, it opened back up 0.3, but it's still under a second. Curtis still has time. 5 laps to go. Morris up the track a bit. Curtis running up as well. But now, does he have the run coming off the corner? He's closing in big time on that 55 coming off at 1 and 2. He has the opportunity, he has the chance, and he is on the back of the 55, into 3 and 4. Looking to the outside on Morris. This is the battle for the race lead. A big run to the outside, and there goes Curtis. He's going to clear into the race lead, and Morris's race win could just be going up. Did he use up enough? He's made many mistakes. Now can he chase back down Curtis? Coming around next time by, it'll be 3 laps to go. A caution comes out. Now we have a green-white checkered finish. And does anyone have enough? Burkhardt smacks the wall. That might have been all they wrote as Curtis into the race lead in that 5. Morris is going to get a big run back into 3 and 4. He dives it in. Does the 55 have anything for DJ Curtis? Or will he feel what Curtis felt this season? 4 runner-up finishes, or 4 races that he's been leading and lost at the end. And now Morris in the 55. He has 3 more laps to try to catch that 5 of Curtis. Morris has been faster than them for the majority of this time, but the last few laps, he's just made so many mistakes as the equipment screwing him up. Curtis is low. Curtis is low. He's out of fuel. This is another fuel strategy race, and Curtis is out. Morris to the race lead, and Burkhardt's in it. Porta's out of fuel. We thought they could have made it, but they pitted at the edge of a window. 2 laps to go. Can Morris hang on? And another race slips out of the grasps of DJ Curtis, but that's 2 laps less on fuel. Do these guys have enough? Does Morris have enough? Can Burkhart catch him? He's right on the back of the 55 coming down the back straightaway. Morris looks low. Brady is out in the 99. He's coming down. He has to come down to pit. Colton Lane is out. Now Morris in the 55. One last time around here at Darlington, and he will be home free to win it. White flag for Brandon Morris. Never won in the NSDCA. We've seen many winless droughts end this year. Sebastian Kukulon, Matty Porta, Carter Friesen all ended this year. Carter ended his last season here at Darlington, and now Morris. There's Curtis back there. He has 2 more corners to go in the 55. The driver of Brandon Morris in this 55 never won in the NSDCA for over 5 seasons. One of the final inaugural drivers not to win. He's going to get it today. The fuel lasts, and Morris gets the victory at Darlington. 5 years, 6 years really, but 5 seasons of winlessness, and Butcher Gatorade Motorsports delivers Brandon Morris his first career victory, coming home in second. Tim Foster made the fuel last. He comes home second. Friesen third. Zachary DeLello gets his first top 5 and top 10 on the season. Cody Smart up to 6th. Adam Mitchell 6th. Cody Smart was 5th. Bowers into 7th. Stephen Walls Jr. 8th. Antoine Smith 9th. Danny Lloyd, his first career Sun Drop top 10. But Morris and the 55 team, the fuel lasts. Curtis and Burkhart, the closing guys, they just used too much. Maybe Morris was saving, and that's why he was dropping back. But it doesn't matter. The 55 team is victorious at Darlington, and a 6-year long winless drought is over for Brandon Morris and the 55 team. That was a dominant race by the 55, but you cannot say that he won because it was hard to pass here. Curtis caught him, passed him, and had the race in the bag, but the team just ran out of fuel. And right at the end, everyone running out of fuel. We've seen it a lot this season as well, and that's something interesting to see. We have never really seen before this year many fuel strategy races. We saw it in the Crown Royal Truck Series at Auto Club. We've seen it here many times here in the Sun Drop Cup Series. It's just the edge of the fuel window. If that caution does not come out, these guys race to the end. Morris probably still wins because it's green the entire way, and he had a big lead, but they would have been fine to make it on fuel if they pitted 10 to 12 laps later. They pit just a little bit earlier, and that puts them right on the edge. They were saving as much as they could, but Curtis and Burkhart knew they were 2 seconds back. They had to catch that 55 because they couldn't hope that that team would run out of fuel. Curtis and Burkhart threw as much fuel. They basically went into overdrive there trying to catch that 55. They caught him, but the fuel runs out, and Brandon Morris gets his first career Sun Drop Cup Series victory and first career NSDCA victory here at Darlington. An exciting race. A couple guys heartbroken there for Yepes and Jefferson having mechanical failures early. 2 of the favorites for this year, honestly, are really struggling now as we head into the middle of the regular season. But I don't know if you could have predicted Brandon Morris, Dusty Neal breaking winless droughts, Matty Porta breaking a winless drought. Man, there's been a lot of drivers this year that have gotten wins, and it's been really shocking that they've been able to win, so it's nice to see some fresh faces in victory lane, but this is now our 8th different winner in 8 races. This season is going to be very competitive as we head into the chase. Race number 8, we still have, I believe, 10 races left until we crown our chase drivers. But Brady Burkhart, he was almost up front. This will be only his second finish outside of the top 5 this year. He comes home 19th. DJ Curtis comes home 20th in the number 5. But a lot of drivers there. A lot of guys went laps down. Interesting to see that we had lap traffic here because of that green flag stint of pit stops. But I'd say this was a very good race. It was clean. It was green. 2 cars are out. A couple guys had some stripes, but they got it repaired at the end. So the team owner is definitely going to have a nice bank account coming out of this event. But really, an exciting race, a great run to the finish, and a fuel strategy race again. Who could have saved the fuel at the end? I thought they could have been good by 2 or 3 laps, but then again, you're really pushing to get in, and who knows, they could have been saving fuel at the beginning of the race as well, and that's why they were able to stretch it 32, 37 laps, and you really cannot, when you're in second and you see that guy in front, you can't be saving fuel at all here in the closing laps. But Brandon Morris takes home the victory. Tib Foster in second. Zachary DeLello scoring his first top 10 of the season. First top 5. Cody Smart getting up there. Adam Mitchell survives the fuel. Danny Lloyd, Antoine Smith, other underdogs that come home with top 10s. But an exciting 92 laps here at Darlington ends with a first-time NSDCA winner yet again this season, and it's Brandon Morris. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this entire 92-lap event. Darlington was exciting. South Boston was crazy. Can't wait for next week here in the NSDCA. Thank you guys so much for watching the Sundrop Cup Series here at Darlington. See you guys next time on the NSDCA.